Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize the outstanding career of Joe Brannen. After Joe graduated from the University of Georgia, he spent 8 years serving on the staff of Georgia Senator Sam Nunn. He went on to have a successful banking career spanning over 40 years. The Georgia Bankers Association enjoyed its greatest decades of growth and prosperity under the unwavering leadership of Joe. Joe is a trusted advisor, a thoughtful leader, and a respected friend to many. In short, Joe is one of the good guys. I wish him and his wife, Vilda, nothing but happiness and a well-earned retirement.
It doesn't get much more Georgia than Joe Brannen. Born and raised in Statesboro, Joe has been making a difference in Georgia communities and beyond since his high school and college days. From playing tuba in the high school band to raising rabbits, selling textbooks at the college bookstore, to serving park-goers at Six Flags. No matter what role Joe found himself in, he worked hard and represented himself and his communities with integrity. Joe served in the Army National Guard and graduated from the University of Georgia with a degree in chemistry. So how did chemist Joe Brannen become pillar of the banking industry, Joe Brannen? It all began when Joe started as a driver for Senator Sam Nunn in 1972.
I take a little bit of credit for your banking success because I didn't carry a billfold anywhere on the campaign trail. And so every expense, including my ice cream every night, you had to advance the money. And fortunately, you were a little bit green in the banking industry, so you didn't charge me any interest. So it was I'd call it a campaign supported loan that I may not have quite paid it all back.
Charming and business savvy, Joe turned his 8-year tenure under Senator Nunn into a 44-year career as one of our nation's most effective and respected advocates for the banking industry. Joe Brannen's name is nearly synonymous with the Georgia Bankers Association. In fact, he's so much a part of our history that his tenure here spans 1/3 of the Georgia Bankers Association's 132-year history. Joe has led our industry through good times and bad as an advocate for Georgia banks and businesses, ensuring that the people of Georgia have strong financial futures available to them. Joe's tenure at the Georgia Bankers Association included its fair share of challenges to be faced, from the anxiety of Y2K to the severe difficulties for Georgia's banks during the Great Recession. He's been a tireless advocate for fair tax treatment and a staunch defender against regulatory overreach. Joe had a hand in several of the Georgia banking industry's most important pieces of legislation. In 1987, the Georgia General Assembly passed the Credit Card and Credit Card Bank Act, making the state significantly more attractive for credit card banking. Now, more than 70% of all global transactions pass through companies based in Georgia. In 1996, Joe saw the Georgia legislation open statewide branching. In 2003, he worked tirelessly to amend the Georgia Fair Lending Act, helping to preserve Georgia's critical secondary mortgage market. He twice spearheaded efforts to update Georgia law and help our state's banks provide the best possible protection of state and local government deposits above FDIC limits, creating a safer and more financially stable Georgia. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Joe served as a voice of reason to banks, elected officials, and citizens, helping to guide them through unprecedented times safely and responsibly, keeping thousands of Georgia businesses afloat by helping banks navigate the federal Paycheck Protection Program. When we think of Georgia banking as it is today, we have Joe Brannen to thank for much of it. And he's earned the respect and admiration of his staff, his members, his friends, and his colleagues.
One word to describe Joe is dedicated.
Legendary.
A Renaissance man.
Legend.
Solid.
If Joe had a superpower, honestly, it would be his memory.
He remembers everything.
His memory is like a steel trap.
His memory is phenomenal. He remembers every banker, every relationship, every story of every bank in the state.
He remembers everything that he has ever been through from all of his past lives.
If Joe Brannen had a superpower, it would be that he has an iron stomach.
And his ability to eat food so far beyond its expiration date or shelf life and suffer no ill effects is remarkable to me.
Joe Brannen's superpower would be omnipresence and omnipotence.
He seems to be everywhere all the time, never seems to get tired. He's kind of like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going and going and going.
Joe's just a great guy.
After watching Joe at work, meeting with those various constituents, it became real apparent to me that Joe was a pretty special person.
All members of Congress and of any state legislature figure out quickly who are the persons that they can depend on to give them the straight skinny. Joe Brannen was straight with me from day one.
Looking back on it, we had the right person at the right time to help us come out on the other end, and that's Joe Brannen.
He's just never going to leave you hanging.
And when Joe speaks, it's true. People listen.
There are so many things that I'm going to miss about Joe. His smiling face, his positive attitude, his Monday morning emails, including great clips of his life stories.
I will miss everything about Joe Brannen.
Joe, I wanted to extend my gratitude and congratulations to you on your remarkable 44-year journey with the Georgia Bankers Association.
Your dedication and hard work have inspired generations of bankers.
You have shaped the trajectory of our industry.
Your knowledge, enthusiasm, and obviously your 24/7 commitment and dedication like none I've ever seen to Georgia Banks is amazing.
Joe, we're grateful for all your hard work to help promote prosperity for all Georgians.
Joe, you have been a fantastic partner. You've been a fantastic colleague. You have led the Georgia Bankers for 44 years with distinction, honor, character.
You will be sorely missed.
I'm still going to call you when I have those questions on banking, though, so don't change that number.
Joe, the State Association is going to miss you highly.
Joe, you've had a great career and had a positive impact on my life. Best wishes in your retirement and everything you do.
Your 100% dedication and uncompromising defense of the banking industry and the legislative arena is something to be emulated.
Congratulations on a wonderful career. I can't wait to see you in your retirement and hopefully spend a little more time with you.
Joe, we wish for you and Vilda a lot of happiness in your retirement, and please do stay in touch.
Take care, Joe.
I wish you many happy years of retirement, and I wish that the Lord will hold you and Vilda in the palm of his hands.
Very grateful for your service and most of all, your friendship.
Joe Brannen is Georgia through and through. And now, thanks to his tireless work to make our state and our banking industry better, Georgia is Joe Brannen through and through.